Bring it back.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Car Mechanics Simulator. Today we're restoring an old British classic, sort of like it's a mid-90s Land Rover Defender. I think it's the V8 one, which I don't, as far as I'm aware, they didn't do that many of. I think it's the rarer model, I thought, and this is based on very limited Land Rover knowledge. That they were normally like a 2.5 litre turbo diesel, I thought. But I know they did do a few V8 ones, of which this is one. So I've basically made a start. It looks a bit funny, this model, from a distance, but I've taken out all the old suspension and replaced that already, since it's nothing particularly exciting to watch me going through the shop and buying all the different bits. So I've got that out and I've whipped the engine out. Unfortunately, because of the way the developers have made this game, it's just a bit of a generic American sort of V8 block. So it's not perfect, and it's not super accurate, but it's still kind of cool and I still enjoy it. So first thing to do today is basically to get this engine stripped down and rebuilt, and then we're going to be able to put the rest of the bodywork on, get the doors back on and all the windscreens and everything, drop the engine back in, and possibly paint it a different colour. Although having said that, I do kind of like this sort of a desert yellow. Gives it quite a nice look about it. So we may end up keeping this colour anyway. So let's get to the engine. First things first, this is an extremely complicated series of belts. So let's get that off, and then let's get all the million idle rollers off if we can. Oh, the belt tensioner there. Oh, it's a bit different from most of the models I've been rebuilding in this game. Obviously, being a Land Rover, it's quite a British car. I don't know all that much about them. It's not something I've ever owned. I did look at buying one many years ago, but I never did, so I don't know a lot about them. So you'll have to excuse the occasional screw up in in what I'm talking about. And I'm always happy to hear in the comments sort of what people think of the model, how accurate or inaccurate it is. You know, obviously I didn't make the model, but often the case with this game is that they're sort of roughly accurate, but have often got quite a few flaws. You know, and aren't perfect. So I basically just took all the timing, well, not really timing belts, but the auxiliary belts. I'll take the heads off, and that should allow me to get to the actual timing belt. Unless, of course, it's a chain. It could be a chain drive. I don't know. So just take the spark plugs out, and it will let me take the engine heads off. Take these bolts out here. I should expose the cams. Let's do the same on the other side. Let's have a sort of vaguely in symmetry. Oh, those are the spark plugs. And then I can take the head off on this side as well. That should then allow me to remove the timing belt / chain cover. Oops, this one there. On the end of the engine. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's 2 belts, 1 to each. Oh, that makes sense. Obviously, duh. So, take the cam gears off the end of each cam. And now we've probably got... Oh no, they're not even tied in. Oh, that's nice. I'm not sure if that's necessarily accurate, but I'm not going to complain. I'm not sure what the V8 in the Land Rover is actually supposed to be. I guess in reality it's probably going to be one of the old Rover V8s, I guess. Although, please correct me if I'm wrong. I guess it would be like a 4 litre Rover V8. That's what I'd assume they'd use, but I don't know. So let's take this off to get at the pistons. Do one on each side. So we'll get this engine stripped down. We'll pop over to the repair bench and sort out all the parts, and then we can get it put back together. Oh, of course, I've not got any of the rod caps off or anything like that. Oops, misclick. So let's spin the engine around to get at the bottom. And then we should be able to access the rod caps and whatever's retaining the crankshaft as well. So I've got the laborious task of taking off 8 sets of rod caps. So it's just nothing we can do but other than just work through them. Two to go. And we're out. So let's pull the 8 pistons out, and then we've just got the crankshaft caps, and then we can take the crankshaft out, and then as the flywheel in the clutch, and then we're pretty much there. And it's just a case of getting everything repaired, buying the new bits that I need. Not everything can be repaired in this game. You don't know the game. Oh, of course. Now the clutch, release bearing, clutch plate, and the actual clutch, and then there should be a flywheel up to the engine. Cheers, and then the flywheel. So take the crankshaft out, and then the main block. There we go. Excellent. So we've dismantled our engine. You can see its outline of where it was. So let's head over to the repair table, and well, there's nothing to do, oops, other than basically just spam through all these. It's just one of the parts of the game that's not particularly interesting. You know, it would be better really just to have a repair all button rather than just have to spam through it all, but it is what it is. So let's have a look what's been repaired. Okay, so we've got our main block is now back to full health. So we'll drop our crankshaft back in, and let's see if we've still got the, yeah, let's put the bearings in to secure the crankshaft. Try and do it even remotely in the right order. So let's drop the next one in. There we go. So I'm now going to put pistons don't repair, no, so I need to buy, to get out of that menu is what I need to do. No, not inventory. I need to go to the shop and buy 8 pistons and 8 piston rings. 8 of them and 8 of them. So let's pop back over to our engine and put the pistons in the wrong way around, basically. There we go. Hopefully the rod caps are repaired. I think they normally do, not too badly. Most things get repaired, but it's like a 99% repair chance now given the level I'm at, but every now and then you get a few items that don't repair, so you still have to pop to the shop to buy one of them. So let's have a look at the rod caps. I think they've all repaired, so just got a case of bolting these all back in. Certainly looking a lot cleaner and shinier than it was at the start. Get these bolted in. With regards to the channel, hopefully you've been enjoying the videos. I know I've been mostly doing sort of a bit of a mix between sort of like history and strategy games, which is something I really enjoy, and then sort of games like this, Car Mechanic Simulator, which is sort of probably a slightly different audience. So it's probably a bad thing actually to mix and match like that. But hopefully there are other sort of military interested car enthusiasts who also enjoy my content. But if you enjoy this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel, because it really does help. I mean, at this point I've only got 30 subscribers, although I'm very pleased with that. You know, I always welcome more subscribers, so it really does improve my day when I get more, so please subscribe. So we've got the pistons back in, I've secured the crankshaft and put the oil pan back on the bottom, so I'm just working my way up the engine now. So these bits have all been repaired. I'm going to have to buy the fuel filter, the oil filter, I forgot to get them. I'm also going to have to get spark plugs, ignition coils, that sort of thing. So dropping them back on. The manifold's repaired, which is good. Both fuel rails are okay. So let's drop the crankshafts back in, all of which again have repaired well. I think the cam gears probably haven't, no. So let's just, while I get a chance, buy 4 cam gears. I want 4 of them. And then I want 8 spark plugs. 8 of them. And 8 of them. I know I'm going to have forgotten other bits. I'm going to have an absolute a million idle rollers that I'm going to have to buy because I know they don't repair. And we all saw how many of them I had to take off at the start. The fuel filter, obviously, I'm going to have to buy. One more little bolt down there. Exhaust manifold, have these repaired? Yes, they have. Let's get these bolted back on. I think I'd taken these off already at the start when I was getting it out of the engine, out of the car, sorry. So, put the exhaust manifold back in. Then let's come up and have a look. Put the cam gears back on. I'm going to have to buy new timing belts as well. Certainly would be madness to stick an old timing belt back on. So V8 timing belt. Timing belt V8, we want 2 of them. So I also want a fuel filter and an oil filter for the V8. So let's mount these timing belts back on. That'll probably let me put the cover back on then, at least that's one bit done. Bolt that in place. Like so, and then we can see the 1,000 idle rollers that I need. Yes, it's letting me stick the engine head cover back on. I should probably put the spark plugs in first, but don't suppose it matters. So let's drop our spark plugs in. Along do the row, and then the ignition coils. 2, 3, 4. Let's hop over to the other side, do the same again. Certainly well bolted on. So the 4 spark plugs again, and then we'll put the 4 ignition coils back on. So we're getting there, nearly got the engine rebuilt now, and we can drop it back into the car and sort out the bodywork, which is always a fun bit because if nothing else about this, it's quite satisfying seeing that all come back together. Where's the oil filter? I missed that earlier. There it is. So I also need all the clutch parts. So flywheel, that's expensive. And then, well, just these 3. Okay, so let's pop back around the other side to put all the clutch assembly back together. Clutch plate, bolt that back into place. And there should be a release bearing just on the end. Let's do it. Excellent. So if we come back round to this side, so I'm going to need an absolute ton of idle rollers, a water pump and a crankshaft pulley. So the water pump, options, try that one. A crankshaft pulley, V8, yes, and then when that'll work. Idle roller A. Well, these are cheap, so we'll just have a handful of each to try and put all these things back together. So, I didn't get a belt tensioner. I've forgotten that one already. I think by having played this game for quite a while now, I'd start to remember these things, but apparently not. Oh, the water pump had repaired anyway. Didn't need to buy that. Typical, the water pump had repaired, but the water pump pulley hadn't. About my luck. So serpentine belt B, V8 and a water pump pulley. Serpentine belt, we'll get an A V8 just in case we end up needing one of them, and a B V8 as well. Almost, I didn't get the water pump pulley, did I? Almost certainly brought the wrong part because, and a belt tensioner. God dear. So, belt tensioner, I just know they don't repair. Water pump pulley. What else? I know I'm going to have forgotten something. I'm sure you're probably all shouting at the screen telling me I'm being such an idiot. But let's get that bolted on. Bolt it on, and then we'll kind of have to hope that the other belt I've got is the right one. Oh, it is. Oh, what a hero. And finally, another little idle roller there. Okay, so that's all that rebuilt. Let's have a look. How am I missing anything? Nothing around there. Got the throttle body on. Okay, looking good. Hopefully, I am not missing anything there. So I'm going to remove it from the crane. This is a stand. Use the crane to then install it back in the car. So now we've got the engine back in, which is good. I'm pleased with that. So let's head over to the engine bay and have a look what else we're missing. So battery, always good to have. Starting the car. Yes, servo assist brakes in a V8 Land Rover certainly doesn't seem like a bad idea. And we've got the air filter to drop in. And this, if you don't know, is one of the most stupid bits of the game. It makes you individually put on the clips for the air filter box, which is the most fiddly and stupid little bit. Look at this. Individually put on 4 clips. I don't know. Radiator, drop that in. There should be a fan housing. Yep. Keep it all cool. So that looks all okay. So then it's just going to be the gearbox and the transmission underneath. So let's raise the car up. There's definitely a little bit of a model error going on there, I think. But there we go. So gearbox, drop that in. That's a fairly hefty old gearbox. Presumably it should go to some form of a transmission drive or something like that. Should have a look now behind us. A transfer case, obviously, that's the word. And there's a drive shaft going down to the rear differential. Okay, so is that basically in terms of drive chain? Looks like we're about on. So let's hop out and start to get the wheels on this bad boy. So I've got some new tyres all built up. Let's just bolt these into place. Should be 4, 1 in each corner. I'd be interested to know, if people know more about Land Rovers, how accurate is the model? Obviously, I know it's not going to be particularly accurate. I was kind of surprised that it got discs on the rear. I kind of expected it to have drums. Although, it is the V8 one, so maybe they did put discs on this model. It's like one of the more rarer editions. But I'd be interested to know about that. So, we've got them on, so let's drop it down. While I remember, since I always forget, let's put some oil in the engine. Because, engines work better with oil. Get that dropped in there. It takes a good amount. Okay. So, now let's have a look at the bodywork. What have we got to put on? So I should have all the bits painted up and ready. We've got the hood, you can tell it's an American game. The bonnet. So we've got the front window in. So we've got like all the top bar, and then we've got like the storage racks on the. Oops. Oh no. Oh god. Come on, get in range of the car. Let's put the roof racks back on. That's what I want. That's the classic Land Rover look. So we've got that front right door. Should be a door window. Drop that in. A wing mirror. Right little guard. The bumper. See, it's starting to look a bit better. Oh, it even gives like a sump protector, I guess, like a scrape guard. Although the lower suspension is fitted lower than that, which seems a bit silly. But I suspect that's a model error, not a real car error. So let's get the door on. Kind of cool. Got a little V8 on the side there. We've got all this on. So round to the rear. Oops. Wing mirror. Body panels. Should have some. The rear door. Ah, that's nice. I like that with the Land Rover tyre cover with the spare wheel. Rear headlight, rear brake lights, and there's a little rear mud guard there as well. Okay, so that is looking pretty darn good, if I may say so myself. So we'll just very quickly pop this car to the paint shop and have a look. I think I'm probably going to leave it the same colour, to be honest, because I actually quite like it. It gives it sort of quite a, I don't know, a bit of a deserty look, almost a little bit of a military look. Let's have a quick look, just make sure there's nothing, no interesting paint colours or liveries or anything for it. No, there's no liveries. No, I just like this colour. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. Let's take it out for a quick spin and then around the test track. Run over to the garage door. It's been a bit of an interesting build, this one. I've definitely, the front drive shaft B is missing. Oh, okay. Well, this is why you don't take these for test drives on public videos, because I end up screwing it up. Let's quickly race it back over to the lifter and have a look what I've forgotten. Front drive shaft. It sounds like I haven't put the drive shaft in from... Oh, I could hide in that stupid lift. Sounds like I haven't put the drive shaft in after I put the gearbox back in, probably. What about... Ah! Does that not connect up to something? It should be connecting up to the transfer case. Okay. Let's go and have another go. I fear there's a slight part missing from the model there. Yeah, okay. I guess that drive shaft in reality wants to be a little bit longer to connect to the transfer case, but it's a minor bug. So let's see how she sounds. Ooh, blimey. Nippy off the line. Oh, wow, you can't see a lot in that view, can you? Ooh. Ooh. Wow. It handles like I imagine trying to do 100 kilometers an hour in a Land Rover does. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. I've certainly enjoyed doing this one. One of the slightly stranger cars that I've done. I'm just terrible at driving, particularly with the keyboard. Yes, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff as I plough it into the wall. Thanks, guys, and I shall see you on the next one.